Who is this? You know who it is.
Gentlemen, welcome.
My powers have doubled since the last time we met, Count.
Do the work, Dan.
Work ethic eliminates fear.
I have no fear of fainting in a gym.
Control your emotions. Discipline your mind.
Do you like books?
Have you actually read the book?
I found it compelling.
I've been getting asked a lot what books I enjoyed and influenced me the most in prison.
He's relentless. All right, he won't quit.
Or as I like to put it, ideas having sex.
Die ineinander einen Zusammenhalt gefunden hat.
Found in one another a bond.
Wie sich nur im Kampf entwickeln kann.
It exists only in combat.
I'm going to lay this brick as perfectly as a brick can be laid.
Never give up. Just that's a given. You always fight. Giving up's never an equation.
He has been described as a cross between Bruce Lee and Wayne Dyer. Nic Gregoriades is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu master holding a third-degree black belt under the legendary Roger Gracie. Nic was the first ever to receive a black belt from Roger Gracie, and for those that don't know, Roger Gracie is akin to the LeBron James or Michael Jordan of BJJ, as he is widely regarded as the greatest competitor of all time. For most, achieving a black belt takes at least a decade, but often longer. Nic achieved this feat in a ridiculous 4 years under Roger. The number of men who have achieved this feat faster than Nic can be counted on two hands. In addition to being a master in this martial art, Nic is also a published author of Jiu-Jitsu, the Black Belt Blueprint, an intelligent approach to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which currently holds a 4.5-star rating on Amazon, and his newest book, Aligned, which features the most vital and effective strategies men require for achieving lives of exceptional quality. He's also one of the co-founders of the London Real podcast and now runs the Liberation Mentor podcast, which speaks on health, business, relationships, and philosophy. He's also an entrepreneur and transformational coach for men. Nic, I just want to extend my gratitude for sharing this time with me today and welcome you to the show as well.
Yeah, thanks, brother. It's good to be here. I appreciate you having me on the show.
Definitely. And let's just get right into it since we have an hour. How old were you when you moved to London, and what allowed you to achieve a black belt in 4 years under Roger Gracie?
I think I was 23 and a half years old when I moved to London. And what allowed me to achieve that was I'd done martial arts before, so I had definitely had an affinity for it. I wasn't starting from a complete novice position. Did judo when I was a little kid as well. I started judo at the age of 6.5 years old. So I had a background in martial arts, and I was just in the right place at the right time. I was young, strong, hungry, intelligent, hardworking, dedicated, and all those things came together that allowed me, fortunately, to achieve the black belt pretty quickly.
And you were training about 6 days a week, would you say? Or how often would you say a week would you train?
Yeah, I'd be on the mat 6 days a week because I was mainly supporting myself by teaching private lessons after the first couple of years. So, sometimes I'd be on the mat 7 days a week, but generally it was 6, no less than 5.
Okay. And if you if you had to choose another martial art to become a master, and like if you could go back and say BJJ didn't exist or you weren't allowed to, what martial art would you choose and why?
That's a fantastic question. There would be 3 I'd have to choose between: boxing, Muay Thai, or wrestling, and maybe judo would fall in there as well. In the world of martial arts, the truth is that no one really wants to hear is that most martial arts are just absolute garbage. They don't work. They're just like weird fancy systems that people sucked out of their thumbs. And then there's a select group of martial arts which are known as the functional martial arts, which actually, they're called functional because they actually work. They've been tested in combat, and they've been tested using sparring and competition. So for example, boxing, a boxer knows how to punch people, and he also knows how to take a shot. Whereas there's many weird forms of kung fu and strange karate forms where they don't do any sparring. They just do these weird forms and they punch the air and kick the air. And then those forms are largely dysfunctional. There are some that start to move towards realism and they have actual sparring and competition, and they start to resemble functional martial arts a little bit more. But generally they're just, I mean, I don't want to say a waste of time, because there are certain things that you learn from them, such as discipline and balance and coordination, and there are certain positive elements. But as fighting systems, they are largely dysfunctional. So for me, I'd stick with one of the functional ones. And as I mentioned, that's boxing, wrestling, judo, Muay Thai, or jiu-jitsu / submission grappling.